Guys, I think Ubisoft may just be a little bit out of touch. So let's talk about it. Okay, now of course I am talking about their recent comments regarding NFTs in games, but before I start, I want to say that I am not an expert on NFTs. I'm not going to pretend like I am. I'm not going to pretend like I know that they're good or bad. I'm simply coming at this from the perspective of an average consumer and someone who does regularly play Ubisoft games. But just remember, I'm not just crapping on NFTs in general in this video, and I'm also certainly not advocating for them. So with that being said, let's just get started. So if you've been out of the loop this past week, you may or may not have missed that one of the execs at Ubisoft, Nicholas Howard, I'm not entirely sure if I'm saying that correctly, but he essentially was telling people that they actually do want NFTs, they just don't know it yet. And actually, let me give you the direct quote. He says, in regards to NFTs, so it's really for them being the players, it's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now. And if you're reading that or listening to me read that and your skin just crawled, don't worry, I had the exact same reaction. And listen, I get that the cool thing right now is just hating the word NFTs just to do it. I really get it. And I also get that there's a lot of people out there who do believe it to be something beneficial. Me personally, I'm not on either side of the fence, but I lean towards NFTs being bad. And let me explain myself, really, please. NFTs in games are just another way to extract money from consumers under the guise of, oh, well, we're already charging you for microtransactions. Why wouldn't you want more control over the things that you buy from us? Well, that's a great point. If microtransactions weren't already a complete scam. And guys, I really just gotta say this. I hate microtransactions. I think the only time that microtransactions are justified in gaming is in a free-to-play game because that's the only source of income for that game. And I really don't play many free-to-play games outside of, I guess, Halo Infinite. But for example, this past week, I didn't mind logging into Halo Infinite and buying myself a cool ODST helmet. I mean, I personally feel like the prices are a bit hit or miss on Halo Infinite even after they fix them, but that's another topic for another video. And after all, we are talking about Ubisoft, not Halo. So let's get back to Ubisoft real quick, because let's just say they were to put NFTs in one of their free-to-play games, you know? A game like Hyperscape. Oh wait, they can't because they literally just announced that they are killing the game. But you're probably thinking, okay, well what about if they added some NFTs in a paid game like Watch Dogs Legion? Well guess what? They also announced that they're done supporting that game as well. And this is where my rant really starts, because they literally just pulled the plug on two games that they were pushing down our throats like crazy. And let me be clear, you can still play Watch Dogs Legion. They're just done updating the game. So what you've got now is basically what you'll have for the rest of time. Now Hyperscape, on the other hand, is done in the sense that they are killing the servers. Now, let's be realistic. Stuff like this happens all the time in the gaming industry. But what makes this extra shitty is that they actually just announced both of these things within like a 48-hour period of also saying, hey, we know you folks don't like NFTs, but guess what? Actually, you do. You just don't know it yet. Like, with all of this news, who's to say that this won't happen again? Imagine if you paid for an NFT in Hyperscape. Now you're screwed because the servers are toast. And this is why the title of this video is what it is. It's because Ubisoft is genuinely out of touch. It's astonishing to me that a company would pull support for two recent games and then immediately tell their customers and fans that they're going to be shoving something else, NFTs in this case, down their throat and you're going to like it, even if you think you don't. It's amazing to me that this exec thought that that was an acceptable stance to have, and even worse, an acceptable thing to say given the news surrounding their games recently. At the end of the day, whether you agree with this NFT thing or not, you've got to admit that the way Ubisoft is going about this just makes them look insane. And it shows me that they're the very last publisher I trust giving any money to in any sort of capacity when it comes to an NFT. Because the way it stands now, this Ubisoft isn't the same Ubisoft that made the games you loved growing up. These aren't the folks who created Splinter Cell 1 through 3, or even the Splinter Cell games on the 360 or the PS3. These aren't the folks who made Ghost Recon so great back in the day. These aren't the folks who pioneered a definitive third-person action game with Assassin's Creed. These are the folks who killed Hyperscape less than a year and a half after its release. These are the folks who turned Assassin's Creed into an RPG, albeit a very fun RPG, at least in my opinion. These are the folks who turned Ghost Recon into what is essentially a live service game for the sole purpose of selling you microtransactions. And listen, I'm not saying I hate Ubisoft right now. I mean, one of my favorite games of 2021 was Far Cry 6, and I've loved what I played so far of Immortals Phoenix Rising, even though I'm very late to that game at this point. But it's clear to me that they are completely out of touch and getting more out of touch by the day. And right now, it just seems like they're in it to suck as much money out of you as they possibly can, all while pointing to you as the problem if you don't like it. And that just doesn't sit well with me at all. But that's really all I gotta say on this topic. I just had to put my thoughts out there on this whole thing because, like I said earlier, it really did make my skin crawl reading that quote from Ubisoft last week. But what do you guys think? I don't really want to turn the comments into a war about NFTs. I just want to know what you're thinking about Ubisoft right now. I mean, are you optimistic about them? Do you think they're out of touch? I mean, leave a comment below and let me know what you're thinking. Leave a like if you like the video. And please remember to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell if you're enjoying the content and want to stay up to date on all my latest videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.